You're like the f***ing master at getting jobs. So I appreciate it.
This is Jake Splendorio, and he was hired in 3 weeks as a high-ticket remote closer.
He closed 3 deals in his first 2 days in the position.
And this is exactly what he did to get started and get hired in just 3 weeks.
Like, I got literally exactly what I wanted from working with you.
Enjoy the podcast.
You mind just giving like context for how we got connected and kind of where you were at that point in your career?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got connected about, when was it? Like a month ago, 2 months ago?
I think 2 months ago.
2 months ago, yeah. And so for me at that point, I was transitioning out of cold calling role and trying to become a closer ultimately, right? So I got out of college in May. I was working for this one company for about 6 months or so, maybe a little less. And basically the only position I was doing there was cold calling. And I did get into a role of more like I had an option to like build the team, but ultimately my day to day was cold calling. And I knew that I wanted to become a closer. So I was taking courses, trying to get mentorship, stuff like that, role playing. And yeah, because I knew that was the goal. And so I went through this program, not going to drop any names on it specifically, but it was basically dog shit in terms of like they promised placement and then didn't deliver. And that's how I kind of got connected with you, because I was watching your YouTube videos and I was like, okay, well, I love that how he's reviewing these calls. This guy is like legit. Like I got so much value from your YouTube. And yeah, I reached out to you just to see like, so at that point I was just, trying to spread my wings and get in touch with anybody and everybody possible that could potentially put me on with a closing job. So from there, I reached out and you got in touch with me and you kind of offered like, look, like, dude, this is what I do. Like, I'll help you find a role. We'll do like more one-on-one kind of thing. And yeah, so, I opted in to work with you, obviously. And yeah, dude, it's been great so far, man. I really appreciate like what you've done just in terms of, so like the tracking sheet you gave me was clutch. And then just being there, just having those one-on-ones, which I don't even think I took full advantage of because I know we got like caught up and then I got the job and then we didn't really end up like finishing out our one-on-ones. But no worries, dude. Like I got literally exactly what I wanted from working with you. So that's been a blessing. So thank you for that first and foremost. But yeah, and then from there, man, it's just like ramped up at this company.
How would you say the position differs from like the cold calling one, or like what you're kind of like doing now? Like how are you finding it compares?
Oh, I love it, man. Just from like a happiness perspective, my meter went from here to here just because it's just like annoying. Like I just hate annoying people on the phones. And so that's why I was looking for a closing role, is because I get like leads coming to me of people who actually have problems and need help. And then I can really use my judgment from there to see if what we do is best for them. So it's just all around fulfilling. What prompted me to pick this job specifically was just the fact that I found the job through a Skool community. Like I was just, mass looking around in there and I was just like joining a bunch of different sales groups, and because people would sometimes post offers in there. So that's like kind of one of the things that I found to work well. And yeah, I found this one post from this guy and he was pretty much close to my age, seemed pretty young. And it was just the most legit looking offer that I found, because I'd done a few interviews and some of them were shaky. Some of them didn't really tell you the OT. Some of them didn't tell you like how many leads that they were bringing in. And like for this, I just found they had a Google Doc written out of everything that I was looking for. And then he also was just like kind of explaining what, the company and their values and a lot of that stuff. And so it really just stuck out to me as just like ethically, like it was legit, it was right. And it wasn't just people trying to scam people. It was like, this is something that's actually helping and changing people's lives. And for that, the offer to go into that is, so we sell really like a coach. We have a community on community on Skool course on Skool, and also offer more like one-to-one mentorship, coaching, that kind of stuff for anybody looking to start or scale a marketing agency. So I talked to a lot of guys just starting out, kind of in that 0 to 10 range, that valley of death, and they come to me to see if what we offer is a good fit for them. And, again, we have the entire community of like the roadmap of like what to do in terms of like how the process. We have like onboarding calls where it's, just getting like the roadmap. So knowing what to do. we have coaching calls, that just kind of guide them through the process as well of like starting the agency, scaling it, whatever that may be. So yeah, man, it's nice. It's definitely like a really good spot to be at for me. And yeah, OTE is like it's like 3 to 5, and truthfully, like my close percentage is on the low end of that. So I'm just trying to get better, trying to like cap out what I can do there.
Oh yeah. How many calls have you taken up to the point?
Oh, probably like 50.
50 calls, like Zoom
I
calls.
th Yeah, I can check. It might be a little less than that. It's like around 40, 40 maybe 50. 50 might be too high, maybe like 30, 40.
Oh wow.
But
Okay.
yeah. The bookings are coming in, man. I'm dealing with a lot of no-shows this week, I think, because we're getting closer to the holidays.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been pretty well. Like I opened up my calendar for 9 bookings a day, and Monday, Tuesday are always booked out. Wednesday's usually 90% booked out. Thursday, Friday kind of get like, 50, 60%, which is cool because then it's like a slower end to the week. So I don't mind it. But yeah, it's like leads are there. I just got to get better.
Yeah. What is your like favorite part of the role, and what does your day to day kind of look like right now?
Oh, dude, my favorite part is just talking to people from like all over the world. So like I talk to people from UK, I talk to people in your homeland, Canada, um, US of course as well. It's literally just like so I make my calendar, so I block out like the most popular times of the day, which I work from in Eastern time from 10 to my last call is usually at like 6. So if they don't show up at the 6, then I'm done then. But if that runs, it's like 6:45, 7. So I just work from those hours, block out my calendar for the rest of the hours. And then like in the mornings, like I always prefer to work out or like so now I'm doing jujitsu, which has been fun. So I prefer to do that in the mornings. So, I'll wake up, do that, come back, eat a little breakfast, and then just take calls throughout the day. So it's
Okay.
nice. Like, I mean, I'm on like a schedule, but like I make it. So, I mean, they told me like if you want to block out lunch or whatever, you can. But I find eventually like someone no shows, and then I have like a little window where I'm like, all right, yeah, I can go grab some food or something like that. So I haven't even had to like block out that so far. I'm just like trying to maximize my productivity.
And do you have any responsibilities that take away time away from just hopping on calls? Like, are you doing anything else besides hopping on calls?
I mean, no, like I don't have a girlfriend or a dog or anything, if that's what you
No,
mean.
no, I meant more like in the role act, like specifically, like are
Oh,
you involved in like making sure the appointments follow up, or like booking appointments, or like are you strictly just like showing up to the call end of the day when the day's done, close the laptop, and you're done?
oh, bro, it's option number 2, the latter, which is so fucking nice because of my old job, I'd have to do so much shit in terms of like following up, and it took so much of my time. When I set a meeting, we had to do all the follow-up process manually. And I didn't even know like another side of that existed. The guys that I work with right now have, again, like scaled marketing agencies to like 40K. So they're masters at every back-end automation process that you could imagine. So I literally don't have to do anything except for type into a spreadsheet my recording of the call and then put a few notes and then like say whether it was closed, whether it was lost, whether it's a follow-up, whether it was rescheduled, like whatever the outcome of it was, and then like send like a quick voice note on end of day kind of
Hmm.
thing, like how my day went. That's literally all I have to do besides hopping on the calls.
Sounds nice. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like no
It's
admin,
nice.
prospecting, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just get
Yeah, it's
really
so
good talk
nice.
to people, close the laptop, and you're done. So if you
Hmm.
want to travel, dude, and get that coming up, it just takes making a little bit more money, and then
Yeah,
fuck.
that's all literally. Yeah.
And dude, I was just talking yesterday with a buddy of mine who actually runs an agency, and he
Mm.
just traveled to Mexico with his girlfriend, and he invited me out, but I couldn't go because of this incident with Vera being in the hospital. But anyways, he was
Mm.
telling me yesterday over the phone, he's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I can never turn off. Like, I'm always having to be on, and I could just get a text
Yeah.
at any point of a client being like, this thing has gone wrong, and he's gonna have to leave that situation. He's got to leave the
Mm.
bar from his friends and go deal with it. And so he's telling me like how it's just he's stressed like all the time, and that,
Yeah.
it involves like, if you run an agency, you can get over that by building really good systems, but like 95% of agency owners like almost never do that, and they're constantly
Mm.
their business 24/7, like as the entrepreneur. So, um, yeah, I just mentioned that because even in some like cold calling or setter roles, like you've got to be more time involved, but like as a closer,
Mm.
it's like, do the job, talk to people, and you're done.
So true. Yeah. And like that's where skills really come in. Because if that's all you have to do, and then it's like, that's awesome. But then, if you get really good at that, it's so lucrative.
Guys, if you didn't know, Jake clicked the button down below and scheduled a free 15-minute call with my team. And on that 15-minute call, I told him personally what he needed to do, what he needed to learn, and where he needed to go in order to land a high-ticket closing position. And so I can do the same for you. All you have to do is click down below and schedule a one-on-one with my team. Without further ado, let's get back into the video.
Because can you actually break down, just for my own understanding and for someone else that's considering taking a job with an agency, right, who closes a lot of retainers, like how does the commission structure there work? So like what is this company doing in like cash flow per month, and like how is it broken up with you? Because obviously if you're closing a deal and they're on for 6 months, but it's $2,000 a month, if you're getting 10% of that 2,000, it's not that much money. But are you getting like a recurring payment? Is it the full deal, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have right now it's just a 3K offer. If I close a paid in full, I get 18% cash collected. So I get paid on cash collected. So paid in full, 18%, which happens more than you think. Because I mean, really, at the end of the day, 3K is not a lot of money. But I do I often do talk to people who that it is a lot of money for, and I mean, shit, if I'm being honest, that's even a lot of money for me. So let me digress there. But like, it's not like 10K, you know what I mean? So it is nice. Yeah, you get the 18% on that 3K. And then so for anything else, there's a few like ways we can break it up. We don't go too low, but we really go like down to like 1,000. Even like maybe in certain cases we could do 750, but then we'll just break that up into like monthly. So it's, we do like a half, 1.5 now, 1.5 next month, 1K, spread it out for 3 months, and then like 750 if we have to, 4 months. And so I get paid cash collected on that. So if it's just 1.5, then I just get half of that. So it's like 225 cash collected right now. And then I would get paid the other half of that next month. So like right now, yeah, I've already built up a good little base for next month and the month after. So just like knowing that that's going to come in is pretty cool as well. So it's kind of like more of a base pay at that point for the cash collected, which is cool in its own way.
Because you're when they pay next month, the second half of that payment, you're still getting a percentage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty cool. And how many calls right now again are you like scheduled to take in a day or in a week?
In a week probably. Well, let's see, like 9, 18. So like it's literally 9. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is probably 7. Thursday, Friday get like 4 to 6 range. So I don't know, what's the math on that? Maybe like 30 something. I don't know.
Yeah, more than 5 a day, pretty much.
Yeah, more than 5 a day.
And do you feel like closing at like 20% like is realistic for this offer and for how it's
Yeah, 100%. Fuck, I wish I was closing at 20%. I mean, that's like the guy that the coach mentor that I have right now that's teaching me inside was at like a 30%. That's why he's like, dude, follow the fucking script. And my dumbass just keeps varying. So I don't know. I'm just like trying to figure out, the nuts and bolts of it and trying to like slide into my own skin while being on the process. But yeah, I mean, that's like he was proven doing that. So I know it's possible.
Okay, so this kind of leeways into another like question that I had for you that I wanted you to touch on, which is like a lot of people ask me like, well, should I start as a closer? Should I start as an appointment setter? Right? What should I start in this role in this industry? And usually my advice is like, well, it depends on like how good you are, what sales experience you already have going into it. And so for someone like you who's kind of facing the fact that it's the first time you're in this role and your closing percentage is lower. So what do you think? Like how much experience, how does experience play into one getting the role and performing in the role? Like how much do you actually feel like you need? And just on that topic.
I love that you brought that up because that's an interesting one, dude. I 100% wholeheartedly believe you should start as a setter. And the reason for that is for me, like in my specific offer, for like when I'm talking to people about outreach, when they have a question, like because they're starting an agency and they're like, well, how do I outreach? Like, what's the process behind that? Or if they have specific questions on how they're outreaching and they're not doing it maybe as well as they could be. My biggest like dude, like I talk to people all the time about like getting better at cold calling because I've done it for 6.5 months. And even beyond that, like I did some cold calling stuff in college as well. So it's nice to be able to actually have that experience for my specific offer to be able to like, kind of know what I'm talking about from like a cold caller's perspective. And like I've helped a lot of people with that too. So that's nice. But now like obviously if you're going to be like with a fitness offer, cold calling is not really going to be like something you lean on, but in terms of, why else you should start as a setter with really just the entire understanding the back end of how this shit works. Because it's almost like a new age model, I feel like, where like I didn't know shit about the entire setter to closer process. And a lot of companies do have different sales processes, but I mean, ultimately it comes down to the basics. And if you understand from a setter perspective, like why it matters, bringing good leads and why it matters, like, being close with the closer, all that kind of stuff. And then you become a closer, well, then you want to reciprocate that, so it goes both ways in terms of like building relationships and knowing how the process goes. I think it's just, yeah, I think it's all around better to start as a setter. And the fact that if you're getting into a role as a setter that has a progression to a closer, like I wish my last job did, I would have just stayed there, but they didn't really have that option. It was more like you had to manage certain people, and then it didn't really become closing, and it was just like more of like a managerial role, if you know what I mean. Just understanding the business, so like the product and the service that's being sold. So like if I had an option to jump in as a setter for this company, I would have started there, and then like my last company, I would have just jumped into a closer there because I knew everything about what we were offering from being a setter. So like the closing would have been so much easier. I wouldn't have had to go through a period of like not taking calls because I'm trying to learn what we sell.
Mhm.
If you just come in as a setter, you're in the trenches. So you're learning what they sell, you're learning how to sell it specifically to that niche, which is also a totally different factor, which is nice because it's, different niches are different ways to sell to. And if
Mhm.
you're an appointment setter, you get the understanding of the product, the service, and then you can ease into a closer much more smoothly without having to maybe take so much time to train and learn like the ins and outs of selling.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's definitely like a really good benefit of going from a setter to a closer. You just have a huge understanding of the offer.
Yeah.
To the same accord, I have heard though, like really, really good closers say like, hey man, like throw me in an offer, give me 2 to 3 days to learn what you sell, and I'll just like sell it. I'll close it. Like Danny says all
Yeah.
the time.
Danny Malta.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, dude, yeah, I mean, like I watched that call and it's like, yeah, you can tell. I mean, that motherfucker's on a different level. So it's like, yeah, you get guys like that and I could 100% see
Yeah,
that. But
when you're at
like,
that level. I mean, what
yeah.
for you, like how much actual like closing training did you do before interviewing for these roles? Like objection handling and reframing and like asking
hmm
difficult questions. Like what was the time invested in that?
A good amount of hours, like not as much as I should have, just because I knew that like I was gonna get the most experience by actually just getting into it. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of gassed myself up a little too hard there, but like it worked, and now we're good, so it worked. But I mean, I did have a base understanding, so like I mean, I'm obsessed with like the whole sales side of everything really. So I'm constantly watching Hormozy and like all these people on YouTube, trying to get better at like the sales process in general. Um, but yeah, I mean, I mean, I went through that one course, which took me like 2 months probably. And so it was a lot of just consuming. It was one of those courses that was like mainly just like mental masturbation of just consuming so much content. And then I just got fucking annoyed and I was like, all right, I need to actually practice this. So yeah, I started hopping on role plays, did a considerable amount of those, not enough as I should have, but enough to be like, all right, I know like basically what I'm doing. So now I just need to get in the field with it.
What would you say like what was your goal going into this position and like where do you kind of see yourself or what are your goals in the next like few years?
Yeah, dude. So I'm just trying to travel truthfully. Like, so my goals coming into this position was just to build as much experience as possible because one of the things I said even on the loom when I sent the recording to this company, which we can get into if you want, but one of the things I told them was like, I mean, I've been experienced, but I don't have the experience in terms of direct closing, but like I'm willing to work my ass off, blah 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 blah. I won't get into that, but yeah, I just like basically told them what I'm looking to do. And then for me at the time was just replacing what I was getting from the other job. And so if I could just hit that and then like do something that I enjoy more, that was, sufficient for me. So now it's at the point going forward where I'm really trying to hone in, really trying to get better because now, okay, I've hit my goal. I have the offer. I'm in the job. Now it's like, let's perfect this. So let's get up to those like big boy numbers where we can start making real money and then move out west. Hopefully is my goal. So like Colorado, get to like ski season coming up here. So that's the
Totally.
ultimate goal. Yeah, to be making more, but it's been nice so far, just getting to a role for like first and foremost.
I actually ask you about that, the other training that you
Yeah.
did. Because I want to paint a picture for any of like the viewers here watching of like if they're watching or if they're considering like booking a call with our group or something like that, and they're thinking like, well, am I about to get scammed? I don't want to pay money
Mhm.
to someone and all this stuff. Like you actually like went through that. So can you talk
Yeah.
what like that experience was, how much you ended up paying,
Yeah.
and like what kind of signs you'd look out for a company to know if it's like going to really serve you or not?
Yeah, I mean, I spent 10K and it's yeah, a few things to watch out for is anyone with fucking plaques and Lamborghinis flexing cash and shit, don't fall for. It's probably bullshit. Yeah, that was a big red flag, but like, god damn it, they were good at sales. So like whether it was manipulative or I don't know, but yeah, they got me. So they got me with that. Look out for that for sure. But yeah, another thing is just like make sure that you go over. So if there's like guarantees or like agreements, go over that for sure. So I mean, that's something that I didn't even look at, like the contract kind of stuff. Um, what was the second half of that question?
Um, yeah, red flags. And I guess why did you buy from you already invested 10K? Why invest more money to someone like me? Like what stood out to me
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
well that like when we got connected, you were like, okay, I'm gonna take a bet on this guy.
Yeah, that's good. I wanted to touch on that too, because I mean, this is something like I'll tell people even on my sales calls when they hop in, because I have the experience for it. It's like just because you failed once, like, are you really going to let that determine if you keep going? Because like not everything is bad, clearly, right? So like I got connected with you and I was like, fuck it. Like this, I mean, I felt like we built good rapport and I could trust you. And I was like, all right, let's hop in. And so it turned out massively in my favor for a fraction of what I paid on the other one. And it was like so worth it. So yeah, I mean,
What
it's just look
differences
out for
in
those red flags, but like,
I was
what'd you
just gonna
say?
say just the differences on like the personal help and the one-on-one. Like I think the other group like
Yeah.
didn't do like one-on-one calls with you
Yeah.
for 10K or like
Yeah, no, well, they advertised it that way, but then when you get in, it's like a lot of times. So for the role plays, I'd get pissed off because I'd get into the Zoom call with some guy that was like, "All right, let's practice appointment setting," and then you get on, there's 10 fucking people in there, and each like they just sold to anybody and everybody. So some people would genuinely be like, like I hate to say it, but like there's some people that just will not succeed as like a salesperson, and they didn't flesh that out. So they're giving like I mean, this person is just so bad, and they're giving like minimal feedback and like really surface level advice to these guys. I'm like, dude, I could have told you that. I don't know shit about sales, and yeah, it was just bad because it would consume so much time. And then so like, here's me getting frustrated, getting pissed off because I'm like, oh, I need to like make something out of this, and no one's giving me the attention that they said they would. So I would go into like the Facebook group and hit up other people and be like, yo, you trying to run a mock? Like, didn't get my fucking time to speak today. And like that's just how it was. We'd run over and they'd be like, "Oh, sorry guys, like got another group coming in. Like, see you next time." They'd be like, "Fuck." So and that sucked. And then like the placement was just really bad too. Promised me these great gigs, and it was just like got so frustrated doing that for like 3 weeks with the same bullshit, same offers, looking for people, and nobody like filling them. So yeah, I just gave up on that. Tried something else, and then yeah, it worked out.
okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that paints a pretty cool picture. Basically, your
Yeah,
advice is like look at the guarantee, make sure you got the contract up, and it's legit.
yeah. And then like I just should have asked more questions. That's like truthfully what it comes down to, because you'll be able to flesh that shit out. People, I mean, yeah, people who don't care don't ask you questions about your questions. They just want to sell you. So it's just like, if they had asked like, well, why am I looking into like one-on-one? I could have been like, well, because I value that X, Y, and Z. And then they would have been like, oh, okay, well, we don't really do that. We do like a group kind of thing. And then it would have been like, okay, maybe not.
Yeah. Basically, like, do they care, or are they just trying to like ask you shit to sell you shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm. Okay. Did you fill out the sourcing sheet in our group?
Yeah, dude, I filled it out to like 50. So like I had like 50 people that I reached out to more or less, maybe like a little bit. Like I had 50 contacts on there. I reached out to maybe like I don't know, 40 or something. And yeah, like I remember you were saying like if you do 100, like you'll get like, five or so, like five or six really good offers that you can kind of cherry pick. And yeah, dude, I was kind of cherry picking from like the 40 mark, which was really nice. So I saw results a little bit earlier, and then saw the one I'm in right now is like golden. It's like fuck yeah, let's roll.
Okay. So guys, to get a clear idea of your numbers. So you sent out 50 outreaches. Is that 50 looms, like 50 1 minute stand-up video, or
No,
just
it was less than that, dude. It was honest. So like a lot of these places, well, yeah, I would send out looms to the ones that I really thought like were really good and that I could see myself at. Like sometimes I would just, hit the application button, put in my resume, which I did have a video on anyways. So I'd always type like click here, like watch my video, because that's what yeah, you put me onto the game with the resume loom video, which was clutch in the first place. So yeah, I really only sent personalized looms probably like well, I think I stopped at my loom limit, so which was 25. So yeah, if that tells you anything.
okay.
You helped me so much. Like in terms, we had that one call where we went over one of my Loom videos, and you pointed out something that really stuck with me, and it was basically just saying that like on those calls, like you reminded me that I'm not selling myself, I'm selling the meeting. So like, and I remember like the specific phrase is literally like when I would say, um, well, why consider me? You were like, dude, say this, like, why consider me? Well, don't until we actually hop on a call, see if our goals align. I can kind of show you how I sell, see if we'd be a good fit. And like, I said that on my Loom video that I sent to these guys, and I think they like commented on it too. They were like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, kind of why we wanted to talk to you. So that was super huge, man. And then, yeah, beyond that, just like, you're like the fucking master at getting jobs. So I appreciate it.
Okay, so 25 Loom videos, 50 like applications. What was the
Yes.
final number of like interview offers you had, or like interviews you hopped on?
Six, like five or six.
5 or 6 interviews?
Yeah, I did a few. I did a like fitness one. I did like a public speaking one offer. Um, I did like a relationship one, and then like a few other interesting ones I can't remember. But yeah, and then hopped on this one, and then yeah, we just clicked. Like I just immediately knew like it was just like the owner, and he was like pretty much my age and just super cool guy. And he was the first thing he asked me about was like ethics, and
Hmm.
so that was kind of where we were like, yeah, this is it.
That's so funny. It's like dating, dude, isn't
Yeah, dude, it really is.
it? Right? It's like
Yeah.
we clicked. I knew from the moment I talked to him that I just wanted to be with him.
Yeah, you gotta
Um,
have that intuition. It's so true though.
for anyone new entering this process of looking for businesses and jobs, what should their approach be like in terms of their mindset? How should they be kind of attacking it?
Mm. Yeah, I just say it depends on your skill level because for someone who's newer, like just being honest is the best way to go about it, man. That's like just being 100% transparent of like, here's where I am now, here's where I'm looking to go, here's the gap. Let's hop on a call, see if we align, and maybe we can fill that gap if our goals align. Like that's like the biggest thing I would recommend is just like just being transparent, just being straight up and showing them that, maybe you don't have the best skills in the world, but you're absolutely hungry for it. You want to achieve, things beyond your wildest dreams for your family, for the company, and you're willing to put in the work. You're going to roll your sleeves up and you're going to be the hardest working person in the company to get there. And also like making sure to tell these people that you're extremely, extremely coachable goes a long way as well. So like again, like even if I don't have the most experience, I'm so coachable. Like you can tell me something and I'm gonna implement it. So just being honest, being transparent, but then like really highlighting the qualities that you have if you're beginning, being coachable, being hardworking, and like framing it in a way where it's like non-needy, but also like I'm gonna work my ass off for you if you give me a shot.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what would you say to anyone who's just got a lot of self-doubt right now and whether or not, they can make this work for them?
Dude, I mean, fuck, no one's got more self-doubt than me, man. It's just about doing it. Like it's literally, it's so fucking simply put. But it's so true, dude. I have to like flick my switch in my brain all the time because I get that shit all the time, man. It's just like you just gotta do it. And then the doubt goes away because then you start building confidence, you start building those wins. So, every once like whether it's closing, whether it's appointment setting, whether it's even doing outreach, you just start doing it, you get those wins. So like maybe out of every 10, you get one win. And then it's like, fuck yeah, well, that worked once, that can work again. So the best way to eliminate that self-doubt, bro, is just to do it, just to dive in and be a fucking action taker, not an order taker.
Hmm. If you were to go back and start as a complete beginner newbie, would you change anything or do anything different?
Honestly, bro, no. I really wouldn't. Like I just kind of had my goal in mind coming out of college of exactly what I wanted to do. I never wanted to be 9 to 5 and well, never wanted to be like, putting on the monkey suit going into the office 9 to 5. And so, dude, I just like stuck to that path and, found the first role, appointment setting, cold calling, and knew that that wasn't going to be something long term for me, but knew that that was a stepping stone. And then also right here, also just a stepping stone, like finally hit my goal, became a closer. Now it's a stepping stone to just getting really good. So yeah, I mean, it's just like I wouldn't even change anything. I think it's just sticking to the process. And I mean, dude, this has been a span of like fucking 6 months. So I mean, if you think about it, yeah, it's a considerable amount of time. It's been a long time. It's been a long journey so far, but it's nothing compared to the end journey, right? And that's going to be much longer. And if you think about it, even maybe I sound like a noob saying this just because it's only been 6 months, but like that's also just that's so not long at all. Like I have so much more to go, and like being able to hop into this position and the time that I did, even though it does feel like a long time, is really nothing in the scope of things.
Well, dude, it sounds like I mean, you've got the right attitude about things, like an upward trajectory
Yeah.
about it, which is like exactly where you need to be, dude. And I can tell like you're gonna just continue to move upwards and just make a lot more money and do bigger and better things in this world, dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's the goal.
Yeah, and dude, it's just like continuing on the path, like
Yeah.
you kind of more or less know the path to get there. It's just now focusing on that path and
Yeah.
continuing to grow, learn, and change. So,
Yeah, and knowing that every day is not going to be sunshine and rainbows, and that's fine, but you just have to remind yourself that like don't quit. You're on the path. Don't get the what I got, like the shiny object syndrome where you're like bouncing around, you're like, all right, this could be cool. Maybe I can make a little bit of money here faster than this. It's just so not true. It's like if you want to do one thing, stick to it, and then just remember, like don't let your mind trick you into like shiny syndrome. It's like your goal, stick to it and make it fucking happen.
We're here in Switzerland.